Focus on yourself and change your life. 7 profound lessons. You must understand something right now. If you truly want to change your life, you have to stop waiting for the world to change for you. Before going any further, take a second, breathe, and ask yourself this question honestly. How much time have you wasted trying to control what is not in your control? If this kind of reflection speaks to you, then subscribe to the channel right now, because here we are not looking for illusions. We are seeking real transformation. And this transformation always starts in the exact same place, within you. In ancient traditions, it is said that the root of all human suffering comes from a simple but powerful illusion, believing that our peace depends on the outside world. And that is where everything falls apart, because as long as you look outside, you remain a prisoner. The day you turn inward is the day you take back your power. What you are going to discover today are not quick fixes. They are 7 deep, timeless lessons capable of transforming your way of living, thinking, and existing. The first thing you must understand is that your energy is limited. Every day, without even realizing it, you scatter your attention in 1,000 directions. The opinions of others, how people look at you, silent comparisons, frustrations, regrets, expectations, all of this consumes your energy. And the problem is not just that you are tired. The problem is that you are tired from things that build absolutely nothing in your life. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a pure spring of water. Every useless thought, every worry, every jealousy, it is as if you are piercing this spring with invisible holes. And at the end of the day, you wonder why you feel drained. It is no mystery. You are scattered. The lesson here is simple but radical. Take back your attention. What you focus on grows. What you feed becomes stronger. And today, without realizing it, you often feed what destroys you. Look closely. You spend more time thinking about what you lack than what you have. More time analyzing others than understanding yourself. More time reacting than acting. And as long as you live like this, your life cannot change because you are not building anything. You are only reacting. In this philosophical view, mastering the mind is not an option. It is the key. Not mastering the world, not mastering others, not mastering circumstances, but mastering your mind. And that starts with something very concrete, learning to observe your thoughts without following them. You are not obligated to believe every thought that crosses your mind. You are not obligated to feed every emotion. You are not obligated to react to everything. But as long as you do not create this distance, you remain a prisoner of your own mind. That is why certain people always seem calm, solid, and grounded. It is not because their lives are perfect. It is because they have learned not to let themselves be carried away. And that changes everything because the outside world is unstable. People change, situations evolve, and results fluctuate. But if your inner center is stable, then nothing can truly break you. And that is where the transformation truly begins. Not when you change your external life, but when you change your relationship with your inner world. Many people spend their lives searching for solutions on the outside, but completely ignore what is happening inside them. And this is a mistake because everything starts there. Your reactions, your decisions, your habits, your results, everything stems from your mind. If your mind is confused, your life will be too. If your mind is scattered, your life will be too. But if your mind becomes clear, stable, aware, and unified, then your life begins to align, not by magic, but through consistency, because you stop unconsciously sabotaging yourself, you stop scattering your energy, you stop running away, and you begin to build. The second lesson is understanding that the majority of your suffering comes from comparison. You compare yourself without even realizing it to others, to their success, their appearance, their pace. And every time you do this, you lose, because you are comparing your inside with the outside of others. You are comparing your doubts with their image, and this comparison drains you. It creates dissatisfaction, frustration, and sometimes even discouragement. But the truth is simple. You are not in competition with others. You are on a journey with yourself. And as long as you do not understand this, you will be running in a direction that is not even yours. In these teachings, every being follows their own path. There is no universal race. There is no perfect timeline. There is no valid comparison. There is only your evolution. And this evolution requires one thing: presence. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Because your life is not happening elsewhere, it is happening here. But if your mind is constantly elsewhere, you are missing out. You are missing out on your own life. And that is why you sometimes feel like time is slipping by without anything truly changing, because you are not fully there. You are in your thoughts, in your regrets, in your projections, but rarely in the present moment. And yet, it is the only place where your life exists. It is the only place where you can act. It is the only place where you can change. So ask yourself this question: are you truly present in your own life, or are you constantly elsewhere? Because transformation begins right there, not in massive decisions, but in your ability to be here, truly here. If what you are hearing makes you reflect, take a moment to like this video. Not for me, but as a commitment to yourself. A signal that you are ready to take back control of your life. You are starting to see something now. You are beginning to understand that the problem was never entirely on the outside. And this is a difficult but liberating realization. Because if the problem comes from the outside, you are powerless. But if the problem partly comes from your relationship with yourself, then you can take action. And this is where the third lesson comes into play. It is subtle, but it changes everything. You are not your emotions. Most people live as if every emotion defined their reality. They are sad, so their life is sad. They are stressed, so their life is stressful. They are angry, so the world is unfair. But in reality, an emotion is a passing state, not an identity. In this worldview, everything is impermanent. Thoughts change, sensations change, emotions change. But you remain. The problem is that you identify with what is passing, and from that point on, you become unstable. Imagine someone walking through a storm, thinking they are the storm. They will be swept away. But if they understand that they are simply walking through the storm, then they can stay standing. It is exactly the same with your emotions. You can feel without losing yourself. You can observe without reacting immediately. You can go through them without collapsing, but that requires inner discipline. Because your mind is used to reacting, fleeing from what is uncomfortable, seeking what is pleasant, and amplifying what is intense. And as long as you operate like this, you are controlled. Controlled by your impulses, controlled by your environment, controlled by whatever happens around you. But the day you learn to remain stable, even when an emotion rises, you level up. You transition from someone who endures to someone who chooses. And this is a silent power, a power that few people develop because it requires slowing down, not responding immediately, not acting under pressure, and taking a breath. In that space lies your freedom, right between what you feel and what you do. The bigger that space is, the freer you are. And the freer you are, the more conscious your life becomes. The fourth lesson is even deeper. It touches upon something many avoid. Stop running away from the silence. Today, everything is designed to keep you busy. Your phone, social networks, notifications, constant distractions. Why? Because silence is confronting. In silence, you find yourself face to face with yourself, without distraction, without escape, without noise. And many people do not like that because they discover an inner chaos, thoughts they avoid, emotions they repress, and truths they ignore. So they fill their lives with noise, but noise cures nothing. It only hides things temporarily. Then it comes back even louder. In these teachings, silence is not an emptiness. It is a space of clarity. That is where you truly see. Not what you want to see, but what actually is. And it is only from there that you can change, not by fleeing, not by ignoring, but by looking, accepting, and understanding. Silence is uncomfortable at first, but then it becomes a strength because it stabilizes you, it centers you, it aligns you, and above all, it reconnects you to yourself. And that is what you have been looking for from the very beginning. Not more distractions, not more external solutions, but an internal connection. The fifth lesson is brutal but necessary. No one is coming to save you. It might sound harsh, but it is the truth. You can receive help, you can be supported, you can be guided, but no one can do the work for you. No one can think for you. No one can decide for you. No one can transform your life for you. And as long as you wait, you remain stuck. You wait for the right moment, the right person, the right opportunity. But what you are waiting for will not come as you imagine it, because transformation does not come from the outside. It comes from an internal decision. A moment when you say, enough, not tomorrow, not later, now. It is this moment that changes everything. Not a strategy, not temporary motivation, but a clear decision. And this decision is always in your hands, even when it is difficult, even when it is slow, even when it is uncomfortable. You can take one step forward, then another, and another. And over time, your life changes. Not instantly, but deeply. If you feel that something inside you is shifting, then take a moment right now to subscribe. Because this kind of transformation does not happen all at once. It is a journey, and you do not have to walk it alone. You have already started to see more clearly. You have understood that your attention is precious, that your emotions do not define you, that silence is not your enemy, and that no one will do the work for you. But now we must go even further, because understanding is not enough. You must integrate it. And this is where the sixth lesson comes in. It is often neglected, but it transforms everything. What you do every day creates your life. Not what you think about doing one day, not what you dream of, not what you want, but what you repeatedly do. Every single day, your current life is not an accident. It is the result of small, repeated actions, invisible habits, automatic choices, and behaviors you no longer question. And that is why many people stay stuck, because they want radical change while keeping their habits unchanged. But that does not work. In this progressive approach, transformation is gradual. It is built moment by moment, choice by choice, breath by breath. It is not spectacular, it is not instantaneous, but it is powerful because it is lasting. Imagine a drop of water falling in the same spot over and over again. At first, nothing changes. Then, over time, the stone is hollowed out. Your life works exactly like that. What you do once has almost no impact, but what you do every day transforms everything. So, ask yourself this simple question. What are the actions you repeat without thinking that keep you exactly where you are? Maybe you procrastinate. Maybe you constantly doubt yourself. Maybe you scatter your focus. Maybe you avoid what is important. And by repeating these patterns, you reinforce your stagnation. But the good news is that the process works both ways. You can also create habits that build you up, even small ones, even simple ones, even invisible ones at first. Because it is not intensity that changes your life, it is consistency. And this is where many give up, because the results are not immediate, but they fail to see that something profound is being built beneath the surface. A new version of themselves, more stable, more disciplined, more aware. And this version always ends up appearing if you keep going, even when it is slow, even when you doubt, even when you do not want to. Because discipline is not a punishment, it is liberation. It frees you from your inner chaos. It frees you from your impulses. It frees you from your instability. And the further you go, the more solid you feel. And this solidity, no one can take away from you. The seventh and final lesson is perhaps the deepest of all. It touches the very core of your existence. Let go, but do not give up. Many people confuse these two things. Letting go does not mean abandoning. It means stopping the need to control everything because excessive control creates tension. You want everything to go exactly as planned. You want fast results. You want to avoid failure. You want to secure every step. But life does not work like that. And the more you cling, the more you suffer. In these teachings, attachment is a major source of suffering. Not action, not effort, but attachment to the outcome. You can act with intensity, you can move forward with determination, but without attaching yourself to the immediate result. Because what depends on you is the action, not the outcome. And when you understand this, something relaxes inside you. You continue to move forward, but without excessive pressure, without constant fear, without permanent anxiety. You do the best you can, and you let the rest unfold. And paradoxically, that is when everything starts to align, because you are acting with clarity, not with fear, not with despair, but with stability. And this stability attracts results, not because it is magic, but because it is coherent. You become an aligned person, and an aligned person goes further than a scattered one, always. Now take a moment, come back to yourself, take a deep breath, and look at what you have just understood. You do not need to change everything today. You do not need to be perfect, but you can start here and now with a single decision. Center yourself back on yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of clarity, because it is the only thing you can truly master, and that is where your life begins to change. If this video helped you see more clearly, then leave a like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell me in the comments which lesson stood out to you the most today. Because this moment could be the beginning of a real change, not a spectacular one, but a deep and lasting one. Yeah,